Alright, welcome to the channel, guys. This is Chili Games, and this is the patch notes for February 2021, and the carriers are coming. Now, I usually take a little bit too long in these videos. I haven't really gotten into a spot where I like making these videos, or where I feel like I'll just say that when I make these, I feel like I take too long, and I don't know. I'm gonna try and push through this a little bit quicker. Obviously, this is just kind of like a brief overview. You can read the patch notes for yourself. This is kind of just what I think as I'm reading, and also getting out there's some two gameplays for you. First one is in the Odin, second one is in the Conqueror, which is pretty funny. So I hope you enjoy that. So, getting started with carriers, the airstrike event. Aircraft carriers are coming to the game, and this is a test event, which is going for... the Air Striker event is for 2 weeks, so February 1st through the 15th. You'll be able to try out the Japanese carrier Tier 3 Hosho and the Tier 5 Ryujo, and the Tier 3 Langley and the Tier 5 Ranger. So it's just IGN and USN for this test, which I think is totally fine. To command the new ships, you'll get the help of Ernest King for the US Flat Tops and Tamon Yamagichi for the Japanese. So, 2 new commanders apparently for the carriers as well. And let's see here. Obviously, you guys know that they have been, like, especially on social media, you can sign up to get into these carriers for these events. As I understand, you can play against them, and then I'm not too sure how playing with them works. But this is a test, so they're definitely going to be looking at a lot of information. So, things to note about the carriers and their current form. So this is big. Obviously, this is a test event. So if we don't like what's going on, then we must use feedback as our biggest tool here. So you can only control one entity on the screen at a time. So once your squadron is in the air, you lose control of the carrier. So I don't think it's like PC where you can kind of map out where you want to go. I don't think that's going to be possible. So you are just completely a sitting duck if you are in the planes. So, okay. Access to 2 squadrons. You have torpedo and dive bomber. So no rocket planes, which I think is pretty great starting off. I don't think they need to come out with all these super good tools and gadgets. You know, let's just ease our way into carriers. And let's see, the AA suites. So basically the AA that's in the game right now, for now, is going to stay. They said that they are not in the patch notes. They're saying that they don't feel like they need to tweak them right now. And obviously this is a test, so I feel like I'm saying that a million times, but because people are going to freak out. Like, this is a flipping test. This is a 2-week test for carriers. So the AA isn't changed. I think the AA is going to be pretty underpowered. We'll see how it actually does versus squadrons versus like the planes that we have now, but right now I feel like the AA is garbage, or just very inconsistent. Let's see, the AA guns will start to begin firing as the enemy aircraft is within proximity, and they do not affect the ship's firing detectability, which is huge. So on PC, if you watch a lot of PC, your AA, if you have it on, it blooms out your detection. So your surface detection will stay the same for if you are just not shooting your guns, which is going to be about 3 kilometers, about on average at Tier 7, I would say. So obviously they can see where the AA is coming from, so a super attentive person will be able to go, oh, there's AA coming from like 5 kilometers that way. So you just got to be paying attention. Let's see here. Catapult Fighters for all cruisers and battleships have been changed to make them less of a passive spotting satellite and more of a countermeasure against carrier attacks. For most cruisers, the cooldown for Catapult Fighters have been reduced from 180 to 80 seconds. That's amazing. While the time of the plane stays in there has been reduced from 360 to 60 seconds. So the kind of spotting planes are getting a kind of total recall. They are, instead of being those satellites for 6 minutes at a time, they're going to be pretty fast reloading, and obviously the fighters will be able to shoot down planes and stuff like that. Continuing on, let's see, Battleship, the cooldown has been reduced from 180 to 80 seconds, while the plane now stays airborne for 90 seconds instead of 360. I think that's a typo. They don't stay in the air for 360. There are no service costs for carriers in the airstrike mode. Other ship types retain regular ship service cost. Okay, so that's interesting. Let's see. Okay. They're basically just saying this might be a little bit difficult for most players to learn, which is fine. I'm fine with that. I guess that's it for carriers. What am I thinking about them? They're coming to the game. There's nothing we can do about it. I am excited to get my hands on them and see what they're like and give the best amount of feedback as I can. So that's really about it on that. Coming up next, the British heavy cruisers, and I'm trying to keep pace here. So the British heavy cruisers is going to be the new line. They are going to be early access like they usually are. So the Tier 4, 5, and 6 will be accessed through crates. Open the British cruiser crates that are available in the campaign and the source. So there's a campaign as well. The lower the chances of getting her. Let's see. Oh yeah, and the Tier 7, the Albemarle. So the tiers for the British cruisers are the Tier 4, the Hawkins, the Tier 5, the Devonshire, and the Tier 6, Surrey. I'm probably saying that wrong. And the Tier 7, the Albemarle, which is not going to be able to access through the early access crates. Basically, these things, if you've played London or if you've played Exeter, it's probably going to be like that. They do get HE. It does say here that their maneuverability is pretty terrible, but their armor is somewhat better. So I'm hoping that they have some sort of armor thresholds that are decent, i.e. like 27mm bow. Edinburgh has 30mm bow as a light cruiser, so maybe the Albemarle may have like a 30mm bow. I think that would be pretty cool. But we'll see. I'm honestly not the biggest fan of British heavy cruisers. They seem to just overpin a lot for me. Haven't really enjoyed the London, and the Cheshire is kind of the worst ship in the game. But we'll see. We will see. Coming up next, the Dragonslayer campaign. The German battle cruise, the Siegfried, is the centerpiece of the new campaign. The Tier 7 premium German cruiser. And the Siegfried is basically... It's a battle cruiser, but it's going to be a cruiser on here. It's kind of similar to Gneisenau in terms of ship layout, torpedoes. You know, you can't really, well, they don't have any stats on here yet, but I've seen some great games on it in PC. On PC, it's very accurate. Obviously, things do not translate 100% to Legends, but PC, it's pretty accurate. It's a pretty fun ship. I've seen a lot of good things about it. Switching over to the Conqueror game, please watch the next minute and a half. I have the most disgusting salvo in the next minute and 30 seconds that you will have ever seen with high explosive, and I would want to bet anyone that this is the most disgusting thing that they have ever seen in terms of raw HE power. So enjoy this. Enjoy the next minute while I talk over this. Let's see here. So, another big spot in this... Introducing currency that we'll be able to earn once you're done with the campaign from this update onwards. It is steel. We are getting steel into the game. For PC, this is kind of like an extra currency, kind of like GXP, like we have now, Global XP. This is just an extra one that is harder to get, and you can buy exclusive rewards for it. And this one is going to be, while you won't be able to get it fully right now, they are releasing the Missouri for 30,000 steel. Now that's probably going to take a couple updates. I think it says it in here as well. You will not be able to get 30,000 steel very quickly. But the Missouri, I assume it's going to be a Tier 7 premium battleship. Has a radar equipped with it, so a lot of people are going to have fun with that. If you just saw that disgusting salvo against the Yamato, we had 23,000 damage, 2 fires, put him out. Next salvo was about 14k and 3 perma-fires. That guy is going to burn for the next probably he's going to burn for the next minute at least, and take about 75k off of him, if I remember correctly. Anyways, moving on, other than the Missouri. So we are getting steel. I think that's nice. It's an extra currency to grind in the background. I think this won't be like credits. This won't be like GXP. I think you're going to have to complete certain objectives, either like ranked or stuff like that. So the progression of earning steel is going to be very slow, but you know, I'm okay with that. It'll probably be in the background. So you can obviously buy smaller rewards too. It says like commander stuff, so that's not terrible. The Siegfried campaign, I always think campaigns are worth it. That's always going to be my go-to. They're about $10, and you earn usually about 1,500 doubloons back. So, you know, out of pocket, a doubloon worth, you're probably looking at about $5, because you get $5 back, basically worth of doubloons. So, you get a ton of things in here. I'm not going to go over every single one. You can read that yourself, but it looks very similar to all the other campaigns. Looks nice. Will be nice to grind. Let's see here. Next coming up, a big thing here. I have to hurry. We have about 3 minutes left in this game. The Arena mode. Now, Arena is going to be Tier 5 right now, and it's going to be 4 teams of 3. So it is kind of like a Battle Royale. 3v3v3v3. Take your 2 best division mates, go at it. Looks like they're going to be able to mirror some like your ships, so I think the best play would be going like T-61, some sort of cruiser, and some sort of battleship. So that's pretty cool. You will be able to earn steel from this, and there's technically a ladder for this too, like a global leaderboard apparently. So sounds pretty competitive. I'm down for it. I'm not going to read all the basic rules for it because it is pretty lengthy. There is friendly fire though. If you hit an ally, 33% of the damage will be applied to their ship. So this competitive mode has friendly fire, so that'll be pretty funny to get used to. There's tons of rewards for it too. The top 1% get, let's see, a champion flag and 2,500 steel. So yeah, placing top 1% in this only gives you 2,500 steel. So like I said, Missouri at 30,000 is going to be pretty difficult to edge out, or at least take some time. Oh, excuse me. Moving on to the Lunar New Year content. To commemorate the new Lunar New Year celebrations, the home port will be set to a themed haven and special content will be offered in the store. Yada yada yada. You can expect the following: Southern Dragon and Eastern Dragon, visually different variants from the Tier 6 cruiser Mayoko. So premium bonuses are applied to these. The stats are unchanged. They're basically just a premium version of the Miyoko. So those will probably look pretty cool. And let's see, you get some camos with that as well, and a flag. Some balance changes. Here we go. Nothing too crazy here, but kind of funny in my opinion. So the Cheshire rudder shift time decreased from 13.76 to 11.76, a 2-second faster rudder. Main battery reload will be 1 second faster now, and repair party modified will restore the same amount of health as it usually does, but it will do it basically 3 times faster. So the full heal will take 9 seconds instead of 27. So really fast heal, really fast, really good heal too. Oh god, the Cossack. Okay, the Cossack's getting a little buff, who cares though. Main battery reload reduced from 5 seconds to 4.5. That is amazing. That was just so great. Torpedo reload time reduced from 96 seconds to 72 seconds. So Cossack is getting a slight buff, but nothing too crazy. No one really wants to play it unless it has 4 turrets. And as this video comes to a close, let's see here. There's some other things. Actually, we're going to have to keep going here. We have got to get this going. So, coming up we have, let's see, we have Vanguard is getting a repair party increase for the Citadel. Increase from 16% to 25%, so you can now heal 25% of your Citadel. And the shell grouping improved by about 2.6%. So Vanguard's getting a slight buff again to its accuracy. See, that's fine. Duke of York is getting another sonar charge, which is, yeah, whatever. That's fine with me. Some additional little tweaks and balances there. Let's see. Gunshots have received improvement visuals on them. Not too bad. Not too bad at all. And let's see. The rental legendary ships have been removed from your port. Thank the Lord. The rentals are gone. I think it was a great idea for maybe a week and a half or 2 weeks, but having them for the whole month has really sucked, and it has really drawn the last bit of skill gap, whatever you want to call it, at legendary tier, and it has been an absolute nightmare. So rentals are gone, thank the Lord. But yeah, that's pretty much going to end on 2 Alaska clips here that I had. I'm trying to make these somewhat faster and to the point, because I know you don't want to just sit here and listen to me read off a sheet of paper. And as you see, I knock out a turret there, but nope, no turret's knocked out, so that's bugged. That is fantastic. But yeah, that's going to be it for the video, guys. I hope you all enjoyed it. Let me know what you think about the patch notes and if you're excited for carriers. And I will see you next time in the skies. Peace. Thank you.